That's pretty cool.
How many like Comic Cons have you like been a part of? Because we have like a little thing that we want to.
So the first show that I was ever a guest at was in 1995. So I would say between 600 and 800.
Oh, okay. We went to
Three.
We went. Well, he went to New York. I wasn't able to go to New York because I was a broke ass bitch. But I went to one that was in Albany here, and then I went to one in Saratoga. And
so the Albany one-day show, right?
Yeah, it was like a toy and comic show. And that was the only one that. And so the people that we were like super like fascinated with were obviously the indie people. So we went to this one guy, Kevin Conrad, and we went up to him. Yeah. And he was so cool, but he was like, we were like, I hate how you're like on this little like rock island, because it was in like a hotel, and he was like, it was in the lobby of it, but he was on this like little rock like island thing that they had, while all the people, like, there's a cupcake stand that had like a table set up, and they were like out of the
cupcakes were so good.
Yeah,
oh, they were really good, but like, I was like, why did they have to do that for like the indie people at times? And then I guess some people complain about being in the artist alley, but they're not supposed to be in the artist alley, or they want to be in the artist alley, but they are something else.
Okay, so back in my day, so when even before breaking into comic books, and I grew up in upstate New York. I grew up in Utica, and you probably know about Uticon. Have you heard about it?
I actually have not.
Really? Okay. Anyway, they had Uticon, and they also had the Make-A-Wish Con, which was in Syracuse. And I started going there when I was 17. I started collecting at 14, 17, because, and you had dealers, and you had just a table, 4, 5 tables, and they had artists on one side. That was it. No artist alley. There was nothing. And it was, like Wendy Richard-Pini, Tom Vincent, who was the colorist on Silver Surfer, Bart Sears, Tom Tadago, because they all lived in that area. They all lived in Syracuse. And this is when Ominous Press was starting around that time. And this is when Wizard Magazine just launched. Because I remember they had a booth there, and they had one, they're giving issue 1 away. They're just giving them away. Anyway, back then, you did tons and tons of shows because there were small shows. And that's how you got your stuff out. There's no internet. There's nothing. It was all word of mouth and getting so we would travel up and down the East Coast, and we had a bunch of us that were poor, and we got one hotel room. We just crashed everywhere. It was guerrilla style. It was amazing. So now you have Artist Alley, where you've got like someone who makes earrings next to someone who's trying to break in as an artist, next to someone who's making bootleg T-shirts, and then there's no separation. Whereas up until 5 or so years ago, like even MegaCon, you had to have credits. You had to be published in order to get into Artist Alley. Period. Not self-published, published. Now you have the pro area and you have Artist Alley, and that's all these big shows. That's what they're doing now. But even comic books isn't the main focus on these big shows now. Anyway, it's media. It's all these different things. That's where we're at. Yeah. Oh, back then there was no cosplay whatsoever. It just started, and I was at the show in Jacksonville when I noticed you had this couple in their late 20s, young kids, really great costumes. You had Batman, you had Joker, you had the Riddler, and you had Catwoman. Great costumes. Said, "Oh, I love your stuff. This is really great." I said, "What books do you carry?" They go, "Oh no, we just watched the animated show." What? Well, I mean, don't you? That's the costume from. They had no idea what I was talking about. They had nothing, and that's when I was like, "Really, cosplay has nothing to do with comic books. It has to do with media and whatnot. For whatever reason, comic book artists and everything are second tier. They like the name to bring people in for collectors, but it's not the main draw. The people who spend the money on the cupcakes, that's what they just care about, people coming in the door.
All right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's better. I got off my phone and got on my computer.
The connection was like
Yeah.
going blue.
He was getting mad at us.
Yeah, you were telling the truth about Comic Cons.
Right. So anyway, you had Rob Liefeld, and everyone has a line, and next to him was Kurt Swan. Nobody knew. I mean, no one. And he had that disappointed look on his face. You know what I mean? And we just, anyone who knows Kurt Swan, he's like Silver Age. He's like the man. So we went over. He gave us free head sketches for chatting with him. It was super nice. So, yeah, Comic-Cons.
Well, we were this year. Another thing that we were going to do this year, we were going to actually start going to them, like as our company. We have a whole setup that we're actually planning if we can ever go back to those,
Right.
With the people that are on our platform. And there's also some talk about us like going to comic stores because people are starting to do that, and we can just like set up at comic stores. So it'd be like a mini Comic-Con, but it'd just be like one or two wherever you are. So like if our friend Hector is in Chicago, so he would do Chicago, some store that's there. And I guess they carry a lot of indie stuff, so that would be like perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, then like whoever gets to that store or get the more profit, depending on like what is brought in.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we had this whole like plan, and then, things happened.
Oh yeah, I was scheduled to be a guest at a bunch of shows, and just slowly but slowly just kept falling over one by one. New York was the biggest one. I was like, oh, that sucked. I was so looking forward to going to that.
I was actually I was going to start to get a table for like Saratoga Comic Con, because I said like a year ago, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to definitely have a table. And then we didn't have money for that yet. And we didn't have anything like really ready, so we wouldn't have anything to show. And then they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, there's always next year." No, there's not.
No, the year after that, I miss doing small shows in New York. They were the absolute best. We did Albany, we did Utica, we did Syracuse, we did Buffalo. Just boom, 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 right down. You'd get a lot of the old time artists, that come up from the city that would do like Albany or even Syracuse and just kind of hang out for the weekend.
If I could get like enough money to stay in a couple hotel rooms and like, do like a little road trip, that would be pretty cool. Because there's a guy that kind of does that, that's on our platform, Zane Daniel, and he just like, he lives in like a van or RV or something, and he just like goes to Comic Cons and like just, he like lives in the thing, so he can just like set up, doesn't have any like house that he has to really deal with. Yeah, but I would totally do that if I could like road trip to places I've never been to or something, California, and then
okay. I've got Second Sight and I've got Scout, and it looks like they have big presence in New York and they have big presence in San Diego. I haven't done San Diego in 20 years. I'm dying to go, but it's in the summertime, and usually I was either working and then I retired. I've had film shoots. I had to cancel C2E2 a few years ago because I was on a feature film. Now I'm just like, okay, tell me what shows we're doing. I'm planning around it. I'm not going to miss anything unless some major network thing happens. But if it's a film or something, I don't care. I'm going to do shows. I miss a year off of shows, and that's not good. As you guys know, when you have new books, you need to get out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, because I know there's like people that really would like, we would be able to grab if like we went to a show, or just a comic book store too.
Right. Also, it's just the networking aspect of it. You know what I mean? You're able to talk with, dealers and whatnot, bigger dealers that would be willing to do varying covers for you, if you want to, specialty just for them to sell. So
Yep.
By the way, virgin covers. Do you know what those are?
Yeah. We technically have one for Ink, our first solo series, but I just haven't like printed that. But I could totally print it.
Is that the white covers?
It's literally just like there's no title.
Yeah.
It's just like a design. So like I have that. It's just ink like doing this and like the purple glow and stuff. But like I just didn't print it.
I had no idea. I knew like 4 days ago. I'm like,
I just learned a year or something ago from a guy that's on our platform, Todd Rayner.
So it's just a cover that has no title. It's just the artwork.
Yep.
Just artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of that? Like for like showcasing or
just another type of cover, even though it's just like no title.
Super exclusive.
Yeah. So like
like maybe you only print 100 of them that are virgin covers.
Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting. I like that.
That's another thing we have to do for Kickstarter is I have to print more than just what I print for like the backers. So far I've only printed enough for like collectible. That's what Aaron said. So I only print for the amount of backers and like a little more than that. But like Aaron Dowen, who just commented, he actually like prints above that because it's for like stores and whatever else. We're gonna start doing that too. So
yeah,
our goal might be either higher than normal or not, but we've always gone over our goal like an insane amount. Like the last one that we did for Seer Chronicles, we got 3,000 something, which was insane.
Good for you.
And I don't know if we lost any. Well, I think we lost one person maybe from like the last one, and it was like a person from Finland, but that's like $25 I would have to ship anyway, so that's fine.
Just apologize to him and make up to you next time. That's all you can do. Can't make everyone happy. You just try your best. This whole COVID thing, once we had the books done, we had 11 pages we were supposed to get finished, and then I was like, September, we're good. We're ahead of time. We're going to do things. It'll be great. And then my artist got sick, and then the family got COVID, so they were out of it for so it put us like a month and a half behind for everybody. So I literally just mailed stuff out last week. We finally got stuff done. It's been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I have everything but the comics that are ready.
Yeah,
I have the dice that are for like physical backers because one of the characters, the one character we have that's kind of a douchebag. He's just like a very troubled character, and he's like addicted to gambling. So like there's a dice that's like involved with his character. It looks just like it does in the comic book, and I was like, that's like amazing that I got it to look exactly like the color and everything. And then we have posters and like a menu from a restaurant that's in our city because like we're like super on world building. Like we go to the max on that, like video game and everything. So
let me ask you a question. I'm reading Aaron's comments. Who do you print with?
Yeah, Aaron, who do you print with? I think he said it in his podcast, Beards and Comics podcast, but I forgot what he said. Maybe Comic Impressions.
Yeah, that's what I use.
I used Ready Comics first, not to bash on them, but I used them first, and their website was garbage the last time I used it, but they were like updating it. But when they updated it, and they're like, "Oh, it's updated." No, it's not. It's still like
it was hot garbage, and now it's just garbage.
It's kind of like a little city dump, town dump, and then they kind of like got it.
They have grass growing on it, like it's already starting to break down. It's pretty good, but like it's it's so funny because I think when I chatted with them, I offered to like potentially help them with stuff, and it's like it's so not user friendly, and it wouldn't be that hard to fix it. Like I don't know what they're using to like work with it. And then one of the times, even Greg like had issues with like some of the stuff we were printing and the pricing, and it's like, come on guys, you guys are awesome. Like let's fix it.
Yeah, there was a new girl that because we were trying to partner with them, and we were trying to like integrate their website into ours, but that it isn't happening now. But there's a new girl that just started there like last year. I don't know if she's still there, but she like she didn't do math correctly. Well, that's what she says. And she's like, oh, you still owe me like another $100-something for like printing this. I was like, I just paid you like $400. What?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I forgot like the other $100. I'm like, what is that? Like tax? What? She's like, oh, no, I just forgot it. I was like,
I would wholeheartedly do comic impressions. I've used them for all my stuff. Scout Comics uses them.
so I used Comics Wellspring to print a couple, like I printed like 25 or 50 for Adam Fields for ink.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, because like in his contract with us, he gets like 50 copies or 100 or whatever.
Right.
I can give to him, and he's gonna get scales too. So than anybody else. And I think he's selling those pretty quick because like every time he does like a pajama con type thing like this, I start to see like just lower amount that he is selling. So either people are buying them, which is awesome. So we're like growing a fan base, not even knowing, or he's just not selling like all of those at once. But so Comics Wellspring was like super fast, and like it's actually really good. I heard Comic Impressions was really good too. So
yeah, that's all I pretty much use. So, yeah.
I could do like print in multiple states, but I feel like that would still just be weird. Like, why would I do that? I would like to print in like one state, and then they would be able to just ship the stuff, so I don't have to even deal with it. Like drop shipping in a way, but
well, Comic Impressions, they ship really easy.
Yeah,
I pick them up because I live in Florida, so I was able to drive down and get them.
That was also another thing with Ready Comics. They're in Arizona, and they're like local pickup, and then that's like free. And I was like, well, I am in New York, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, so well, shipping is this much, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
If I really want to save money, I'd drive, but that wouldn't be saving money because I would just drive.
You might be saving money, you're not saving time or sanity.
I'm gonna bring on the next guest in a second, and I would like to thank you for coming on and dealing with the static. You'll be on tomorrow.
Yes,
our last panel ever. Well, not ever. So that's gonna be cool.
This year.
Yeah, this year, and you'll be able to talk about your million years in the industry and stuff.
Oh, I'll be old person big time.
It's you and let's look at this thing.
I think it's me, Chuck, Travis, and somebody else, right?
Gavin. Yeah, he's on our website. Gavin Andaloza, however you say his last name. He has the comics, the Stone Legacy. So that's
cool.
Yeah, and there's probably like another one or two that might join depending on if somebody can't make it or something. But okay. Well, I'm gonna invite this person. I don't know how to invite. Nice to meet you. Okay. So yeah, you can totally come on our like podcast or something next year because all of these are going to actually be podcast episodes later once I edit them. So technically you're on our podcast. Yeah. So where can people find you before you go bye-bye?
Let's see. Facebook is Austin Janowsky, or The Art of Austin Janowsky. Instagram, Austin Janowsky. And Twitter, Janowsky2002. If they want to know more about me, just Google and just type my name in. You'll see all sorts of neat stuff about comics and films and stuff like that.
So if you want to watch The Christmas Bride, go to Amazon and watch it because I'm going to. And
very good.
I put the link in the comments on Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. This was fun, even though we had technical difficulties.
That's fine. It happens. It's virtual.
Yeah, that's true.
It's COVID free.
All right, I gotta break down the garage sale, guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Have fun.
Yeah, see ya. Bye.